Social shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, some social shit for everyone, you know what I'm saying? Like, I may just be myself, so hit me. Woo! I mean, like, we can pull that clown shit away. There's some real shit for you. I'm spazzing right now, so listen, let's go. Yeah. It's in their bones, the thugs in harmony for the love of the money. Then fall victim for the cookie, then turn pussy, it's lonely. You said you hold it down when life get rough, we're here now, so show me. We move them losses to them wins. Heavy pounds, we make it ends meet. Converse of only few who make me feel like I be 10 feet.
Yo, what's going on, people, man? We're back in the building. Apologies, usually, you know, I'll do this like early doors, but was a little bit busy this morning. But I said I need to do my match reaction. I've seen a lot of talk. I've let everybody say what they want to say. You know what I mean? And I think off the back of that game as well, I believe there's going to be a lot of conversations. But listen, we'll try to get through as much as possible. Big up everybody, of course, if you're watching this live. Big up your damn self if you're watching this on the replay as well. Make sure, as always, please, man, just smash the like button, the dislike button. I couldn't care less. Just smash a button, not your phone button, please. Make sure you do that for me. It helps the channel out, as always. You guys already know the vibes. Big up Hollywood Rock in the building. So, obviously, of course, I'm joined this afternoon by Carl. Carl, how you doing, bro? First and foremost, man, how's your day been so far?
So far, it hasn't started. Because again, when you decide to work at home, you're on at people's beck and call, and they choose when and not to show up on time, when not on time. But I'm happy about it. I get a chance to talk to you, talk to football, which I love and appreciate anytime I get to talk with fellow fans and fellow a member of the same fandom. I'm happy. I mean, I'm happy with I've been content this weekend. I mean, I'm seeing how Man United lost. It was unbelievable and very funny. So I had a good laugh about that. It was even funnier watching the Spurs lose that game. It was just you just like, man, these men, they can't even put two sticks together to get some results. Again, I'm very impressed with Chelsea. I think overall in terms of footballing, I was very happy. I'm sure you got bragging rights now against Savage.
He knows. He knows. Yeah, I don't say anything.
But it was such a weird game, man. It was tight, and then it just wasn't.
Yeah,
right. It just wasn't. And then I think Madrid played horrible. But I do think that people you don't celebrate too much on their grave, because once they figure it out how to play together, that team's gonna be a problem, and so don't celebrate too much. But after that, I mean, I had a great weekend. I enjoyed my time with my family, my girlfriend. We had some dinners here and there, and it was good.
Nah, man, good, man. That's what I like to hear, man. You know what I mean? Chill vibes, man. Chill kind of vibes. Of course, obviously, you know, we're here for football and we're here for Liverpool, but that's just a small part of, you know what I'm saying, like what we do. You know what I mean? Outside of when we leave the screens, guys, like you guys watching this, we've all got our lives to kind of live. But obviously, we're here to talk Liverpool. As I said, big up Hollywood Rock. Yep, I see Eric Ten Hag. To be honest, Man United, like whatever. Like, not even at your comment.
Maybe one minute. Let's give it 1 minute before we talk about the game. I am very disappointed about him leaving, but again, the football in me is that my thing is that I've never been afraid of a rival or another team that's supposedly big to be great, because I love football. So that means that I love seeing teams at the strongest and beating them at the strongest. I guess that's the only thing nice I can say about Man United, is that I wish that you get better. But after that, I think he should have been fired 2 years ago. So that's my opinion. He should have been fired 2 years ago.
No, same. To be honest, like it's one of those, man. Like the banter in me is what Carl's saying, in terms of the banter in me saying, yeah, man, they needed to have kept him. You know, it helps us, you know, because it means they can stay in this kind of position. But yeah, the football in me is kind of like, it's kind of boring. Like you lot are this bad. Like, I don't mind you being bad, but you lot are like you're worse than bad at this point, kind of thing. Where I'm not really gaining any real enjoyment out of this, even when. Like people always forget, even when Liverpool were rubbish for all those years and Man United were winning every single season, we were still competitive in the games that we faced them. At least that was still there. 1-0s that we would potentially win. They'd only beat us 1-0. Like it was still competitive, and we had guys like Ngog up front, and all of these kind of things. They've got way better players than we had back in them days in their team right now. It's not even competitive. And like when we beat them the other day, I was like, yeah, I mean, I felt like we had a harder game.
I was expecting it. Like when I was again, I watched some of the Man United again United View. I have mad respect for Flex. I genuinely like him. Every time I've seen him talk, he seems like a good vibe kind of guy, a good dude. And even I love a KG. He's a funny motherfucker. I'm sorry, he's a funny dude. He's a funny dude. Again, I can't. Sometimes I feel for them, but to tell you the truth, I feel for them. But to tell you the truth, I knew this was gonna happen the moment that we play them, because every single time they were playing badly in that game, they were showing pictures of Mr. Ward. Don't know why. I'm like, okay, then who's the manager here? We might as well fire Ten Hag. Why is an assistant being showed on TV, bro?
So much, so many,
so much. So I was like, yo, why are you wasting your time and having all this bellflowers language? Is like, he's our coach. We trust him. We've come in understanding. I'm like, bro, this is coach speak for I don't know when I'm firing you, but I'm thinking of firing you.
Yeah. No,
right. Like, again, if you work in an organization in corporate world, that's how they fire you. they just don't know. But I'll tell one more thing. But I don't think Van Nistelrooy should have been the coach. I think they should have. If you're gonna fire him, you should have found someone already. You should have found a way to get someone, pay the money, and get him at the club. To me, is that again? This is again the same pattern repeating himself.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen is that Van Nistelrooy is gonna. I think he's gonna play good enough to put himself in the hat of candidate. And then what's gonna happen is that I think later throughout this year, there's not gonna be a good candidate, and Van Nistelrooy is gonna get the job, and then it's gonna be the same cycle again, the same kind of cycle again.
That is one of those. I almost feel like those who do not hear must feel, and ultimately, if we get to that situation again with Manchester United, I stop feeling sorry for you now, because I'm like, nah. If you keep doing the same thing, it's like I can feel sorry for you know, if it's like, you know what, maybe if they change it, clearly it was just the manager. Now it's a bit more competitive. It's fun again, to watch Manchester, not watch them. I mean, like compete against them, because we're good now. So I want, like Carl said, I want us to almost compete with them when they're better, because it's like, it's too much of a mismatch between the two. Like we've had it really since I started watching football, where they were good, we weren't so good. Now we're good. Then like I need more of a battle, man. But
it gives you pride. It gives you bragging rights.
Yeah, man. It's just one of those kind of things. But listen.
And let's move on. Let's move on to better things, to better football, to better enjoyment,
well,
to better stress, everything.
This is where it gets a bit. Well, like I say, I've yesterday, obviously after the game, I was busy, but today I've been like just watching a few people, just like their match reactions and how they felt towards the game. Obviously speaking with the guys, how they feel, and etc. 2-2 at the Emirates. Both teams get a point. How did you see that game? Like in terms of good, and when I say not the game, I mean in terms of Liverpool in that context. Like how did you see it from that perspective?
So it's always a good thing to talk about the bad. Let's talk about the bad. I think the bad is we were. If I have to be kind, I say we were shit. I was very disappointed with how the tactic. The thing is that I think I'm mostly blaming the coach. I'm not necessarily blaming the players, because I don't think that they did not follow tactical analysis or tactical a game plan. I think they did, but I just think that Slot got it wrong this time. he got it wrong this time, and it's not my job to allow it. I don't work for Liverpool, but I'm content because we didn't lose the game. I'm like, you know what, he got it wrong. I'm sure he knows. I'm sure the players will think about it and look at it to the film. They got it wrong, and one way you could see they got it wrong is that it's those long ball to Salah or to a Diaz. They were always competing for 50-50 ball in the air. I just think that we were being very wasteful in the first half with those balls, so we didn't have any control of the game or able to create other patterns of attacks. So I think in terms of that, it was a little bit better in the second half. But again, I think in the second half it was more here and there. Like Arsenal will have it, we'll have it for a period of a time. And then it was here and there. There was no control. We couldn't really create something of not of worth, but something of consistent pressure. And I think that I think the manager needs to look at this game and get better and find a way to attack teams better. But I understand the logic. You have one left back being injured, who just got off from injury. It improved itself after 65, 70 minutes. He asked to be subbed off. And then the other one, the right back with Partey, that's not his profession. That's not his trade. So I understand that you wanted to attack that weakness. But I don't believe that we got it right, and I think Arsenal should feel a little bit disappointed in the fact that they were not able to win this game. We'll talk about individual player later, but that's my thought about the game. But the thing is that it was the corner goal was well taken, a nice goal. I think our two goals were very nice. Again, this is where I'm gonna ding Slot again. If we are the type of team who make adjustment within the game, in the game, doing the game, I think that Arsenal had 3 spot kick to make those try to score from a free kick, and we should have done better at defending it and finding a new way to defend it, because they tried to do it 2 or 3 times and they were either offside or they miss. I think the third time, like they said, third time is a charm, and then it happened. It happened. I think we should have done better defending defending that free kick. But again, I'm just disappointed with us, not necessarily Arsenal and what Arsenal did. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but very disappointed with how we played.
No, like I said, man, that's kind of, to me anyway, again, other people might have seen it differently, but I feel like that's probably been kind of the general consensus. Obviously, I see the comment there, Angel, big up yourself, obviously saying, out of possession, we simply lack intensity. Our midfield is not aggressive enough, and our fullbacks don't defend well. Our centre-backs are our best players this season. We need to be more aggressive ASAP. I kind of echo what Carl said, though, what you said right at the beginning. And you kind of summed it up for me anyway. Again, I know people are going to maybe pick at it. I just thought we were shit. I just thought that Liverpool were just shit. Maybe 15 minutes, if you totaled it all up, like the whole minutes of the game, that's probably where Liverpool were good, so to speak, in terms of nice bits of play, a tad bit of control. The goals, as Carl said, both goals, like them, calm corner, and then obviously the Nunes to Salah. I thought that was a very, very good goal. We were able to open them up there. Outside of that, I honestly thought Liverpool were poor. The only solace, as I said to the guys in the group, the only solace you can, in my opinion, you take away from the game is we were dead and they couldn't beat us. I don't actually really care about the lineup that they claimed that they had and didn't have, and etc., etc. Regardless, to me, Liverpool were there for the taking, and you weren't able to do that. So for Liverpool, in Liverpool's perspective, it's probably a very, very good point to actually have when you take into context the actual, game in itself. There was too many, and of course we'll get into it in a sec, but there was just too many things that were happening in the game. And one of the things, Angel, that you mentioned there, which I've said it after almost every single match week, bar maybe like 3 games this season, the way that Liverpool press. When I say this, by the way, people, I'm not asking us to press in the way that Klopp had us pressing. I'm not asking for that. But we are so passive in a lot of the way that we press. It's becoming too much of a theme. And I keep saying it. When you come up against better teams, Chelsea was one of them. As Slot said after the game, he wasn't even happy with that performance. And Arsenal obviously being another one of those teams. When you come up against these type of teams, you need to do better than that out of possession. Because if you don't, these other teams, I'm not saying that, by the way, Chelsea, I'm not saying, by the way, Arsenal cut through us 10 times. And it's not about that. You don't need to do that in order for me to feel like there needs to be an improvement. It's just, we're not, it's like nothing is happening. And
we are almost a tad bit late, right? To that pressure, right? Like, again, from out of possession, right? And then we get into that 4-2-4. It is hard for a team to pass the ball around us. They got to pass it multiple times in the back and then find someone in the middle that gets open, and then they're able to move. You know, I think in general, if you are patient with us, you will get there. You will get to the press. So right now, just like in the picture you're showing right now, as long as they're able to pass it right, pass it left, pass in the middle, create some triangle, and then after that, they're able to find the guy in the middle with the space, and then that guy with the space, as long as is quick and make good decision and good passing, he's able to put it to Saka, he's able to put it to Martinelli, and then now we're running we're on the back foot. You got Robertson chasing, and then you got Trent chasing players with the ball. So again, you just need to be patient with when you're playing against us. Don't make any mistake, and then just be patient. And then just like you said, teams with better players will go through that pressure.
No, it's
maybe we need to find a way to pressure. We cannot just only pressure to that 4-2-4.
Yeah, and that kind of goes on to the next point I kind of wanted to talk about. Carl said it there 100%, and I totally agree. Listen, at times, yes, the 4-2-4 works, but I've seen it, I almost feel like it's probably even at this point in time. The 4-2-4, it's a very good rest defense. And I understand fully. Okay, I understand why you do it, especially in other games against other types of teams. I get it, because you can press from the front. You know, with that, it almost closes off gaps at times if teams don't do what Arsenal did and what Chelsea did. Hence why I mentioned those two teams being, you know, the type of teams you can't do that. The first thing that Chelsea did is they put Malo Gusto, who was the left back at the time, they put him into the midfield. Once you go into the midfield, you create that overload, because once you get past that first initial 4, we've only got 2 behind, as you guys can see in the photo. Once you've got 2 behind, who are the 2 players in front of those 2 players, as well as Partey inverting as well? Once that happens, now it's 3v2. So the reality is you're outnumbered regardless. That's all that Arsenal kept doing at parts anyway in the game, is you get Partey into the middle. Now you've just created this overload. Once you create this overload, you then get Trossard, who then drops in. Once Trossard drops in, that's another player added to the to the midfield. Then what they were doing quite a lot in the game is they get Havertz to drop down into the right.
Yeah, drop down, playing a false 9 or
exactly
or 10 at times.
And once he starts doing that, the problem that we would then having after that is McAllister gets drawn out of position, because he's thinking,
he'll come wide. He'll come way too wide.
Way too wide. And the thing is, I'm not, as Carl said before, it's like, you've probably been told to do that, right? Like the manager's probably said, listen, when he does this, I need you to do this, and everyone else is supposed to do their parts. Hence why I would get onto the manager for that. But the problem that you do with that is you start to then create the gaps. They had Trossard, and big up Jerry because he mentioned this yesterday in the chat. They kept having Trossard in this free space, like he was the only player even playing on the pitch at times. It didn't make any sense.
I think if he played better, we would have been in big trouble. If Trossard had a better game, and I'm saying he had a shit game. in terms of Arsenal. He just was band average. And I think if he was just above average, a 7, well, if we rating them a 7 or 8, we would have lost that game 3-1, 4-1. Well, it would have been a repeat of last year.
We would have been lucky. Listen, we're just lucky it wasn't Erdegaard, because he knows how to manipulate the space and play those through passes, and he knows what he's doing in that position. Trossard clearly is. I'm assuming, I don't know in terms Arsenal would have to tell me, but I'm assuming this is new to him, the role. Fair enough. But as Carl said, if he just upped it by like 1 or 2 rating levels, the game just would have been bang, bang, bang for Liverpool, and that's just it. Obviously, second half
would have been chasing shadows.
It just would have been chasing shadows. Now, second half obviously comes in and he kind of changes it up a little bit, and we kind of go back into this, like, especially when the score was at like 2-1, sorry. He kind of changes it into this like 4-2-3-1 in the way that we are defending, and then the team becomes a bit more aggressive, you know, in terms of, you know, what they're actually doing out of possession, which was working for a little while. You know, it was calm, it was good, you know, for pieces. But again, we were still, I just felt like we were just a bit too slow. Like, it's honestly, Angel, you said it there anyway. Like, it's like getting to the ball. Like, everything was just so passive, and it just felt like at times Arsenal were just, obviously I know they're at home, but it just felt like to me they were just more on it than we were, especially when it came to, you know, out of possession. Yes, we weren't winning second balls. Yes, certain players like McAllister, for example, we'll get to the ratings later, but yes, McAllister, too many fouls, just giving away free kicks. Diaz, same thing on that side, not going at your man, you know, enough, not really taking him on, almost seeming like you were a little bit scared for some weird reason.
I think you're being a little bit tiny bit unfair. I agree with you with the overall and sentiment of that, but the thing is that the way we were trying to get him to do that was long ball. Like, if we were not getting ball to feet, we were telling him.
No, but even when we won, I don't feel like he was doing anything though. I don't feel like he was.
Again, he wasn't doing anything to either run behind Partey or come getting the ball in the midfield, trying to play a little bit. He wasn't doing any of that. That's his fault. But what I'm saying is that when we try to get him the ball, we were putting him only in 50-50 situation. Again, i.e., a long ball. I think that we needed to try to play him down the line, ask him, or even changing tactic of asking him to come in the middle, find a way to get him to touch the ball, to create a different view of the game, a different matchup. Like maybe make him tuck in and make him come to the middle, trying to play better. I think we were playing too many long balls to Salah, to Diaz a little bit. I felt it was just not good enough.
No, the thing is, even the long balls, I feel like we were, I think I heard them not saying on commentary, like, we were starting to, and we do it quite a lot now anyway, we almost were using Salah as like this target man, where, as Carl said, it's just long balls. If it's him, if it's not him, it's then Diaz, where, as you say, rightly so, I do agree with that part in terms of the 50-50, like, constantly. So I'm always like, I'm not trying to be disingenuous. I get why you do it at times. Don't make that the go-to though. That's the problem for me, is that you're almost just making it now just go-to. And I'm like, it's because, as I've said before, and I said in my preview, Liverpool will have a problem in this game, and their main problem won't be, forget the set pieces and all that rubbish. That was never my issue. Like, you can take a chance on that one. Yeah. My issue is that breaking teams down, Liverpool, in my opinion, just my opinion, they cannot do that well. And we haven't been able to ever do that well for years and years and years. We're not a team who understands how to break teams down. So when teams start to plug gaps and holes and stuff, fair enough. Listen, you may need to retreat a bit and think again, but we're not patient enough, and that kind of bugs me. But and even to
you're right. I agree with you, because even that second goal.
Just before you go, let me even answer this part. I do like the style of play. It is better than, in my opinion, than what I was watching under Klopp. The problem is we're still having that same issue, bro. You cannot break teams down. But in fairness, something that, again, Jay was saying in the chat, it's like we almost revert to like an old style of playing, and the team is just not patient enough. Sometimes I'm like, bro, just be patient, bro. I don't care if you're knocking the You know what I mean? I know. I don't care if you're knocking the ball about and this that. That's fine. Do that. I don't. If it's boring, it's boring. I'm good with that. But you need to be patient as a team. It can't just be long ball, hoof it, set, boom. He goes hit, brother. It was just. I felt like I was watching the same game that I would watch under Klopp. Long ball, Salah sets it to Trent Alexander-Arnold. Trent Alexander-Arnold, look for the crossfield pass. If he doesn't get that crossfield pass, he just like it's the same pattern of movement. I'm like, guys, man, be patient. Sorry, Carl, go on.
No. I was kind of thinking. I fundamentally agree with you, but I don't think that we have the forward line to be playing that way, the way that you ultimately want to play.
In what sense do you think?
Okay, in a sense of that, I don't think our wingers get involved too much in coming and key example, right? When City played, the wingers comes in, they come receive the ball from deep, from the middle, anywhere in the field to come and create overloads, overlap. Anywhere they can possibly come and do that. Salah and DS, they don't do that kind of job. They love staying wide. They love receiving ball to feet. Again, we don't have a target man. I think Nunez got the size, but I don't think he does it well enough. I think he's always, again, the same type of player looking for the ball to be put into space for him to run, i.e., that's how we score. That's how we scored the second goal. And I think it's a more of a personnel issue than an actual tactical or a tactical issue. I think
we said that this team is good. Like, okay, but I'm not disagreeing. I'm just This is more for the general consensus, not you specifically. We've said So Okay, so let me just go back to show you this. So this is the team that we played yesterday, right? Yeah. So outside of obviously Keller, we know Alisson, blah, blah, blah. And Jota's obviously injured. Cool. Forget those two. It was the middle of the park, We put in Curtis Jones instead of Szoboszlai. Yeah. I thought that was supposed to help us in some way in the game. I don't know how you saw it, but I thought that was going to help.
I was not happy. Well, I don't want to say I was not happy. I knew we'll have issue. Again, this is where people don't only watch football, but they don't understand what they're watching, right? Our biggest issue, just like we were talking about earlier, right? Once they get the ball to the middle, and then that becomes a player. Now we've lost the numerical advantage in the midfield because most of our midfield is in the back, is two up front, and then now they're attacking two midfielders, and then they probably four versus two. While when they were we were 4 versus 2 against their defense, and now they flipped that. Now it's 4 versus 2 in the midfield for us. So what Szoboszlai will always do is that for a split second, whoever has the ball has the advantage, and then boom, Szoboszlai is behind you, harassing you. Harassing you to get rid of the ball, to make a pass, and usually they either lose it or bad pass, or the advantage is lost because now Trent is in position, Robertson is in a better position, the line is in a better position, right? So it now we're in a more secure position to defend the attack, to defend the offensive action, however it is being materialize. And I think that Jones was not doing that enough. Again, not because Jones is not a good player, because Jones does certain things that Szoboszlai doesn't do. But I think in this situation, in those big games, I'm sorry, until we find someone else who's better, who can give us better control or whatever it is, I think Szoboszlai's got to start those games, because that aspect of the game where he track back, he runs back and harassed the midfielder with the ball. We needed that today in the first half, and that's why he got put on for I think it was for McAllister, right? He got switched for McAllister, and I think that's how we needed to start. I'm guessing it's because he played full time at in Champions League. That's why he didn't start. But again, I think when we play in City, Arsenal again, he needs to start.
Yeah, and by the way,
he needs to start.
I'm only mentioning Jones just because, really, because I wanted to push myself to like agenda anyway. But more importantly, was just it was just more because I said it before the game. I was like, I agree with what you say. I feel like in games like this is actually more perfect for someone like Szoboszlai in terms of you may not like what he does on the ball, and that's fair enough. When he gets into these positions, yes, he definitely needs to improve. But you see what he provides for you off the ball, I feel like that helped. And then what the first thing that he did when he came on was something that none of our midfielders, Gravenberch, McAllister, or Jones, was doing during the game. He was able to drive with the ball forward, and that was something that it's something he does anyway. Of course, yes, when we get to the further part of the pitch, yes, he does need to. Do you know what I mean? You know,
to do better.
Yeah. But in that first phase, he does that, and he's always been doing that. And I just feel, as Carl said, in this type of game, in these games, maybe not every game. Yes, against other teams, you can work it out. But in these games, you need, in my opinion, I feel like he got the starting lineup wrong. I know quite a few people have said that already, or they feel that anyway, that he got the lineup kind of wrong. But ultimately, as well, the reality is, I'm like, I feel you got it wrong because of hindsight. But if you told me that was obviously this was the lineup before the game, I don't think anyone was really moaning.
No,
this was kind of the team that you would have gone with, really.
Yeah, because I was expecting that, because I'm like, oh, we play Szoboszlai the whole 90 minutes in Champions League, so that tells me
I know, no, I agree.
We're doing a 60-30 in during the weekend. So I wasn't like, oh, this is the end of the world, because I also see how if we're in a better tactical position, and then we play better, I could see why Jones could play, because Jones should have given us more possession of the ball. I think he should have been able to hold the ball better, and then spray passes left and right, and then run with the ball, and then beat Jones. I think that in this game he was not able to do it, because again, I think Arteta he dissected the game pretty well, and I think that Arsenal was just very good. They were just good.
No,
what are those numbers? What are those numbers?
I think I'm assuming
is that Ryan Gravenberch?
Yeah, in the game.
But that don't mean nothing. That's just that again. If you watch Gravenberch play again, those numbers, okay, those are the things he did. But the thing is that he was having trouble in the game. He was having trouble in the game again because he had to mark too many men in the midfield. Like he had to make sure to dissect where the ball is going and who do I run to support. Sometimes you'll see him running to support Trent a lot of the time. And on the right side to support Trent. At times he was trying to press a little bit too forward, and then after that change his mind and track back, because it's like, if I move too close, then I'm leaving the back line it's exposed. So I was like he wasn't making decisions. He wasn't free flowing, free thinking his position and what he wanted to do, and I think he had to take too much. And also I think he was also a little bit aggravated with the way the team was playing, especially with Trent holding the ball too long. You could see them having that little bit tete-a-tete in the second half. He's like, yo, pass it. And then Trent is like, oh, okay, I'm going to pass it. It's like, but it's too late now. So they were having issues like that. But, but again, I think it was just more of they were not playing the way they wanted to play. And you put those numbers, I'm sure you put those numbers to him and said, that's how you play. He'll be like, nah, I don't think I play that well. I don't think I play that well. I think he would say that.
Versus the eye test, as everyone.
As
everyone always says. Big up Real McCoy. Much love and appreciation. Thank you for the super chat. Come on, man. You guys always show love here in the chat as well, man. So big up to yourself. He says, I don't watch Liverpool when I see rubbish start, because with him, you are playing with 10 men. You always conceded when he plays. I think you're talking about Curtis Jones, I'm going to say. Thank you for the super chat.
That's not fair. That's not fair. That's not fair, Real McCoy. That's not fair.
Hey, listen, you're allowed listen, Real McCoy, you want your opinion? That is your opinion.
That $5 super chat, I don't think it's worth it.
Hey, listen, look. Listen, look. I'm not here. Obviously, when we get into the actual player rating itself, we'll talk obviously more individually about the players and stuff, how we saw the game, right? Okay, to an extent, yeah, it's probably not fair, but I also didn't feel like playing Jones was in hindsight.
In hindsight, it wasn't a good idea because once you saw the change,
and as Scraps, as you say, 100%. It's like I said, we'll get to Mac when we get to that player. We'll get to Mac because I'm starting to get a bit frustrated.
Mac is having a horrible year.
Yeah, well, this is it. So yeah, listen, like I said, beginning, and Carl said it as well. In my opinion, I think Liverpool were rubbish. I think they were shit. I feel like we were probably lucky really to even get that point, just on the basis that Arsenal probably, if anyone deserved to win the game, it was Arsenal. I feel like that.
I don't think we were lucky. I don't think we were lucky. I wouldn't go that far. I just think that we were. I don't think we were put in a good position to win the game, but we took the point. I don't think that based on how
from our perspective, this is fantastic. By the way, bro. To get that's what I'm saying. Like that's what I'm saying. Like for Liverpool. Bro, you got a point. You didn't play well. Cool. You get in, you get out. And I'm not.
Hakeem, that's not us.
Yeah. That's not
us, Hakeem. Man.
Our player. You know, I don't do 0.8. Like, but he knows that already. He you know.
Okay.
With for Liverpool in terms of their perspective, Arsenal will be the most disappointed because I feel like they would have looked at it and thought we should have won this game. You know, kind of thing. Like, you know, in terms of. Not even necessarily forget chances and stuff like that. It's just the way the flow of the game was. You didn't look at the game and think,
they had better flow. They had better flow.
Yeah, they had a better flow of the game, and that's how I felt anyway. Watching it I was starting to sit there and think, bro, I can't be asked to see Arsenal win the game. I beg Liverpool, do whatever it is you need to do. And then it's so funny because not too long after that, maybe like 2 or 3 minutes, the King decided to come up here. Now, just before we get to obviously our player ratings.
Yeah,
I had to put him up here. I listen. Again, we will talk about his performance.
Your biggest agenda.
Exactly. My biggest agenda at the moment, like the title says, Salah spares Liverpool blushes, because the reality. And by the way, very good assist by Núñez. So yes, I thought
yes. To tell the truth, people might not recognize it and it might just say, "Oh, it was just a cutback." But I think Núñez set up that whole thing really well. Again, from the pass from Trent, and then he looked like he was loading up. And then I think that's why you saw Ben White just running hard to try to block, to try to cut off the angle. And then the ball went right behind him. He set that up right behind him. I think that was a good setup by him. And Salah did his job and scored his 163 Premier League goal. Again, like ENDZ, my agenda has always been I always want to do better, and then that we need to, just because he's about to be an all-time scorer doesn't mean that he's devoid of criticism.
Yeah, of course.
Right? You know. Yeah, but again, listen, big up to him. Big up to him.
Yeah, like listen. At the end of the day, he scored again. If he didn't score, I honestly did not see where Liverpool was scoring goals, because I really did not see us from open play. Maybe from another set piece, maybe like we did with the first goal. But in terms of open play, there was no one I looked at and said, Jesus Christ, he looks like he might score. It was just because of the flow of the game, the way the game was going, and it just so happened that he decided that, it's now my turn, to get myself on the score sheet. But like I said, that's just my agenda, guys. That's just
let me talk to Tron about what his comment right there. Tron, this comment becomes valid if they do come in infield and then we lose or we tie the game. But in terms of the grand scheme of the league, tying at Arsenal, tying at the Emirates is a great result, because again, my philosophy has always been, you don't win the league by beating the top 3 team. It helps, but you don't win the league by beating the top 3 teams. You win the league by beating the rest of the field, the other teams, the other 16 teams. This is how you win the league. You don't win the league by beating the top 3 teams, because let's say we beat Arsenal today and then next week we lose to Brighton, it's off. It don't mean nothing. That's why the most important games after beating a team in the top 3 is the next game. It's the next 2 games. It's not necessarily the game you play itself. That's why I think that you might not believe me. That's why I think that managers, when they come against a top 3 side, they try not to lose. That's the number one thing they think about. I don't want to lose, because losing puts us not 3 points. Technically, it's 3 points, but I think it's 6 points.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
It puts you behind 6 points, because you're not chasing the 3 points that you lost, and now you're now chasing them. Right? You not only have to go beat the next teams, but the thing is that now you're still 3 points behind by chasing, because you're chasing them, because you're behind. So that's 2 games. Right? It's not 1 game. Yes, you lost 1 game, but in order for you to be on par or ahead of them, you need to win 2 more games. And that's how it happens. So you don't win the league by beating the top 3 side. Yes, it helps, but it's the other teams. It's the Brighton. It's the Newcastle. It's the Brentford. It's the Southampton. It's the Forest that we should have beat at Enfield, but it didn't happen. So that's how you win the league. You don't win the league by beating the top 3 teams.
You win the league by beating the dross. You beat
what
the
is
dross,
it?
you win the league. That's what City have done for so many years.
Yeah.
And I totally agree with what Jerry said. It was a really weird game. Really weird game.
No, continue, bro. Continue.
Yeah, go ahead.
First and foremost,
big game because for some reason we decided that we were going to try and beat Arsenal at their own game, which was shithousery for like 45 minutes. And we can't do that. Like we're not really a defensive structured team yet. Like Arsenal have been doing that for years now. Like we're still in the transition of going from gung-ho chaos football into like a game where we're kind of possession based, more defensive, being able to break teams down. And we decided, we were just going to be really defensive and try and beat Arsenal at their own game for the first 45 minutes. And it just didn't work.
I agree with you. I agree with you, K-Mac, but I think that if Arsenal didn't score that first goal, I think the plan, we could have given that plan a little bit more opportunity to work. I think that our issue becomes when we're down, playing from behind. And I think that if we get behind, is that are we going to revert back to how we used to play on the club, or are we going to trust the process of breaking team down? And I think that I think yesterday Klopp won, because that's how we equalize, and by playing fast, by making quick decision, and by playing into space. And that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking.
No, because
for now,
I don't look. I don't disagree with a lot you said there, but I do disagree with the goal. The goal was a routine. The goal was a pattern of play. Like we've done it. I think we've done it 3 times this season. The same goal.
Good goal.
Where we have the right back coming forward, the midfield crushing the game, the ball being moved over to the right back, the space being available, the attacker making the runner, the winger making the runner, and then crossing over. Because we've seen Salah score 3 of those goals now in games where the players cross over.
Against Ipswich. Who else? Yeah, and then today, I understand what you mean by that pattern. I agree with you, but I'm saying that pattern is something that we'll see multiple times on the club. Right now, we're seeing it once or twice within a game, and then whether we score or not, It's
Slot or Klopp?
Klopp. On the slot, we don't see it that often. We've seen it
in pre-season. We've seen it this season.
Yeah, but I'm saying not as much as we've seen it on the Klopp. On the Klopp, that's something that we saw all the time. Players running and that being that proactive. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I just meant the exact pattern. Like, it's
okay, I understood.
Same play, like it. I just don't know why we didn't do that a couple more times, because we probably could have got
again. He said it himself. We need to be measured. We need to be measured in our passes, right? So on the Klopp, he would have been mad and yelling at whoever, "Why don't you pass it? Why don't you do it? You can do it. Do it." And with Slot is like, if you think it's gonna work, okay, do it. But if you're not too sure, it's better that we pass it and create other opportunities that have a higher percentage chance of working. You know, that's his idea of football.
Because he said that in the interview about
that's what he says. That's his view of football. You know, like he's not saying don't do it, but make sure it's gonna work.
In terms of like literally, like, make sure it's gonna kind of work. But to be fair, what came out saying in terms of like for the goal, I just didn't feel like we did that enough. I'm not saying, by the way, you're gonna score from every time you do that, because that's not how football works, right? But I just didn't feel like we had much of a patterns of play, you know, so to speak. Now, listen, of course, there's two ways to look at it. You can look at it and say Arsenal blocked this and they did this and they did that, but that also then means that you didn't do your job at the same time, you know, kind of thing. So I'm then looking at it thinking, okay, well, why couldn't you do your job? Okay, well, you couldn't do your job because of X, Y, and Z. As we then saw second half, he then changed it a little bit in terms of now our rest defense is now that 4-2-3-1 as opposed to the bloody 4-2-4 that he's always, you know, reverting back to, which again has been fine in other games. Once he went back to that, again, I keep saying it and I'll keep saying it every match week, I just don't like the way that Liverpool are so passive out of possession, bro. I can understand you being passive to an extent, but there needs to be some more level, like, and even just an ounce and a 10% or 5% more urgency in the way that you press. Because the problem you're going to keep having is that teams will bypass you. Teams always seem to grab.
Quick question, G. Under Klopp, we wanted to press you up and gain the ball around your area of the field. On the Slot, where do you think that he wants to win that ball? Because I don't know. I've been thinking, I don't know where he wants to win the ball. Is it from the back, or is it in the middle, or is it in the wide area? Where does he wants to win that ball?
I can answer that. So the way he plays, and this is like it's a really funny one, because everybody was calling for Dominic Szoboszlai to get dropped. And this is what you get if you drop Dominic Szoboszlai. Like, yeah, I said it earlier. You get played off the park in the first half in a game, like, because you haven't got a guy that can press. But what we do is we position players in front of their defenders, so we block the paths of the passing. So you're not actually pressing the guy on the ball, like as in trying to tackle him. You're stopping the lanes of the ball getting past. And that's what you do with the three players. So you do it with your striker, you do it with your left-sided winger, your right-sided winger, and then your attacking midfielder, which is Dom. And Dom is so important, because he's the reason why we stopped Manchester United and beat them 3-0 at their ground. Because we pressured them in the ball around their centre-backs and their goalkeeper. And then when they passed it into midfield, Dom was just there to gobble it up. And Jones can't do that. Jones didn't do that at all against Arsenal. Like, I thought Jones played really poorly, because I don't think he understood how to play in that position against a team that is really comfortable with the ball at their feet. And a lot of their players are comfortable with the ball at their feet. You know, Gabriel's good with the ball at his feet. Ben White's good with the ball at his feet. Timber's good with the ball at his feet. Even their goalkeeper's pretty good on the ball. And we missed Dom there. No, I know he's wishy-washy, but he's better than Ramsdale.
The only thing I'll say to that is, in terms of what you miss with Dom, fairs, but for me, it was just more of a team. Like, I don't even just associate that with Dom. Like, I felt this even when Dom Szoboszlai is playing, that you're just so passive at times when you actually probably shouldn't be passive. I agree with what you said though, which is in terms of more about blocking passing lanes as opposed to trying to actually really get to the man, so to speak, because then you can obviously force a mistake potentially or win the ball back, in another position. But I just feel like the way that we press, I've not since he came, I've not liked it, and it's not changed since. I like everything else. I like the way we play and all of that stuff. It's just I don't like that. I just like why do you do that? Because the reality is even Gravenberch, McAllister, whatever. Yes, McAllister, we'll get to that in a minute, but you end up just bypassing these players. Gravenberch didn't really have to do too much because he's just being bypassed all the time. You're not even in a position to actually do anything anyway because they just bypass what you're doing. But this is the point, is that you're putting yourself in a position whereby that probably actually doesn't even necessarily need to actually happen. If the reality is, if you just got a tad bit more, again, not in every situation, there are going to be some situations where I feel, yeah, okay, cool, yeah, you're just doing what you're doing, and that's absolutely fine. I don't really have too much problem with that, but that has always just been a sticking point for me whenever I watch Liverpool play, is that on the ball, by the way, as well, we're also like that as well. I understand there's a difference between being patient and also taking too long. Liverpool take too long. Like we everything is slow, but like this isn't even Manchester City slow. This is like we take it to another level of just slowness where the ball even like I could run faster than the ball itself, and I'm like, that shouldn't be happening, but we're moving it so slowly, and it's like, Jesus Christ, like Arsenal are the best team in the league at getting back into shape. All you've done is allowed them to get back into shape. Move the fucking ball quicker. That was all pissing me. Move the ball quickly. But you don't do that.
So G, again, when Arsenal was playing at the back, they were playing at the back. Should we have, instead of going from that to a 4-2-4, should we have put someone in front of pressuring Raya instead of blocking the lane? Because if you could see at times, you will see Raya at an angle, and then you will see I'm guessing Gabriel to the left or to the right, and then a White or a Timber, and then just like you said, Timber will kind of tuck in the half space. And should we have put more pressure? Again, play at an angle towards Raya, because what Raya was doing is giving them an extra player, which is the idea of playing behind the back. But he was giving them an extra player to play and to create more triangles. Should we have pressure a little bit different from that 4-2-4?
Definitely, the 4-2-4 wasn't working, hence why he changed it anyway to more defending a 4-2-3-1. Yes, maybe, but it would be difficult because, as you say, like Raya becomes like another player, basically playing. So you've almost got
that's what Keller does. That's what Keller does.
So you become like the 12th man on the pitch. Like it seems like anyway, you become
the central defender in the two.
Yeah. But Keller was doing it from a deeper position, though, right? Yeah. Raya was a little bit more forward, almost at the top of the 16.
You can see that.
Yeah, the back line was a little bit high. Yes.
It was weird though. It was like it was like the team was basically told to play long ball. It was.
You mean our team, right? Our team, right?
Yeah.
Our team, or
it was a tactic. Just ping it 60 yards. Salah was never going to win the ball against Timber. Timber's like 6 foot something. Like, he's not going to win the ball there. And Diaz was, I mean, Diaz is reverting back to Diaz from last season now, if you ask me. But
I think that's a bit unfair for now. I think that's a bit unfair. He didn't start for the last two games, and we were given a Gakpo run of games. I don't know. I'm not too sure.
I'm starting to see the trying to dribble in places where you're going to lose the ball, and you did. I'm starting to see a guy who's starting to foul players again. Like, I'm starting to see a guy that's playing too deep there, like too far deep in the game again, and he's picking the ball up and trying to do a mazy run, and he's getting caught out. Like, he's doing a lot of stuff that he did last season, which feels like a guy that's got no confidence again. And also, look, you may also even think Núñez is great. Núñez is doing all of this stuff, But Núñez is doing what he did last season, and he's not actually getting in the box and shooting. Like, he's a player who's got no confidence, ends up going back to basics, which is basically running as much as he can, tackling, trying to get involved in the game, like trying to get a pass, like trying to do something. But you need to do what you're there to do, mate. And you're there as the tip of the spear. You're the number 9. Like
for the last two games, nothing. Again, I think for the last 3 games, in terms of attack, we've been a bit poor. Against Chelsea, against RB, and now today, and now Arsenal. Look, you said it yourself. We weren't playing well. We were dumping balls to the side and not getting any good result out of it. So it's hard to ask a striker. Again, you put the ball wide to create mismatch, overlap, so you could cross the ball, so you could have cutbacks, and for your striker to come in and shoot those. We had none of that apart from that goal yesterday.
How many good crosses came into the box in the second half, and all it needed was a man on the back post to score? I counted 3 in that game.
Good. Please tell me when. Tell me when.
When we were on top and we overloaded them on the right-hand side and the left-hand side with Gapco and also with Salah, and the ball came over to the back post twice, and there was no one there to just nod the ball into the net or even just tap it in. Like, I've seen it happen 3 times in the second half, and I'm like, where is our striker? Like, why is
I'll have to watch the game again. And look, I don't remember those moments. I'll watch it back. I'll take your words. I'll take your words at that. You don't seem like not trustful, but I'll take your word because I didn't see it in the game. I think in the game, we were just not. We didn't have the numerical advantage to play it into the box.
First of all, I don't seem that trustful.
First of all, you know in the chat.
No. I misspoke. That's not what I meant. I meant that you don't look like you lie. You don't look like you lie. I misspoke. I'm sorry. No. I didn't mean it that way. I didn't mean it that way. It doesn't mean like you lied. There's a lot of other content creators who lie all the time about what they saw.
A lot of people saying in the chat that I said Dom shouldn't have played this game. I've never said Dom should not play the game. I've all said that Dom does something that Slot likes, and that's why he gets picked. Like whether you like it or not.
That's not even where my head was. It was you lot saying that Carl's is in Spain. Bro, you lot are just very, very
simple. He's in Spain.
Yeah, it's because of your camera thing. Yeah, it's like blur. Like it's a little bit blurry. Like, you know, like if I go to the screen, it almost looks like that has come up on the.
Honestly, I agree with the Endo pass. Yeah. Endo should have passed it in. I agree.
Yeah, but Endo is that kind of player. But I think Jerry or Enz was saying it a couple streams ago, is that Endo is the kind of player who's like very safe, and then at a moment out of nowhere he makes a great pass. Makes a great pass.
Your boy, man.
No, that to be fair, that moment I just remember thinking, play him. And I was like, oh my god. Like, but then it's almost like I remembered it was Endo, so I just kind of.
That could have been a winner. That could have been a winner, by the way.
That could.
It definitely would have been.
And that could have kickstart Núñez's it really could have kickstarted his Premier League season if he'd scored that.
It could have. All right, let's move. Let's now get into the nitty gritty. All right, this is where everyone's agendas can run which way.
Yes. Allow me my first agenda. That goal. Kelleher, Van Dijk.
Which goal?
They should have done better. But let's start with Kelleher. Kelleher, you should have come out. You should have come out and try to make
which goal are you talking about? Which goal?
The first goal.
Okay.
Saka.
Yeah, okay.
If I think again, this is the difference between Kelleher and Alisson. Alisson makes that a little bit more difficult for Saka to score. And I'm not saying Saka don't score. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying is that if he's a tall dude, get out a little bit, maybe by just flailing your arms, you touch it. because obviously when you that close, ball comes faster. But if you close the angle, it doesn't matter how fast the ball is. There is an object in front of it, so you could save. It could have been a fluke save. It touched my arm, it touched my leg, and then now it's a corner. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying he did something horrible. It happens, but I do think that Alisson is quicker at sniffing danger and comes out to make a save or to make it more difficult for the striker or the winger to score. That's all I'm saying. So in terms of that, he's a 6.5 for me.
Okay.
Yeah, he's just a 6 for me. He didn't have to do anything really. Like did Arsenal actually have any chances?
Nah.
Yeah, I don't feel like Arsenal were I didn't remember Keller. Oh my goodness!
Was there any saves that he made? No. I don't remember. I remember him I think he.
Let me double check.
I think he caught a few. But
no,
I'm not really blaming Keller for that because he put it right in the top of the net.
Isn't
that like
that's why we call it agenda. That's why we call it agenda.
No, but
that's why we call it agenda.
Isn't that like? Has done that quite a few times. Like he puts it right in the net.
I agree with you. I agree with you. The common sense in me, the radical, the rational part of me saying it's a great goal. Nothing no one can do there. But again, if I'm having an agenda, I'm saying you could have come out a little bit faster, that kind of thing.
One save and that was Arsenal away.
Yeah,
bloody hell! That's
this is why the thinking of Arsenal. I don't necessarily fully understand the Arsenal should have won or Arsenal should have done better, because I don't think that even though we didn't get a chance to score, I don't think they ever had a chance to actually score. In terms of, I don't think they also did not create enough pattern to win the game. Yes, we were in trouble, but I think we were defensively doing a good job. I think Van Dijk and Konate were doing a banged up job at sniffing everything.
Yeah. I would hold on, Carl, what did you give him? 6.5.
6.5. It's average. Again, he didn't do anything.
Technically,
just like K-Max at 6. 6 should be fair also, but I'll give him a 0.5 because he's a good goalie. I don't have an issue with him. Like he didn't make any mistake. He didn't put us in bad situation. That's it.
What did you say, K-Mac?
6. I mean, I might give him another 1 because he did that Cruyff turn.
You know when keepers do stuff like that, I'm always like, I'm gonna give it.
It always looks sexy on TV. It always looks sexy.
Wait, to me it looks scary. It's really what it looks like.
I'm sticking with the 6.
I'm gonna give him a 6. I feel like 6 is more like
you're gonna hear that number a lot. You're gonna hear that number a lot from me.
Oh, don't worry, we're gonna get lower. Let's move to Trent. Let's move to Mr. Sky.
Oh yeah, we're getting lower.
5.
Jesus Christ, you lot were fast with that. Okay, back. What are you giving him?
God, I'll probably give him a 6 as well because of the pass that he made. Otherwise,
very good pass.
We weren't going to get an equaliser.
Very, very good pass. You're saying 5, 6.
Yeah.
I'll go in the middle. I will go in the middle. And I'll say 5.
Wow, 5.5. I feel like that's a cop out, but no, because I
would have given him a 5, but I'm giving him the 0.5.
You would have given it a 5. Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I'm giving him the 0.5 for the actual assist in itself, to be honest. Because not even the assist, because technically he didn't get the assist, but it was just more he played the pass to the thing, and that was good enough. Pre-assist. So I'll give him that. But the reality is, I thought he was super average in the game. Not even that I felt like Martinelli was even having that much joy. I felt like he was okay against him. Didn't really have too much to do because they were going down our Robertson side, should I say? And obviously we'll get to him in a minute. I just thought in the game.
That's the reason why I'm giving him a 5, because I don't think that Martinelli was that effective or having that much of a time on Trent. I also do think that they did give him good help. Konate Gravenberch, they did a good job, or even Jones at time, they did a good job of shadowing him and getting him to reshuffle the attack, going backwards a lot.
Mm. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh no, he did get an assist for the corner. Technically,
Yeah,
actually, he did.
No, that was. That was Diaz. That was Diaz. Let's not do that.
Yeah. No, actually, you're right. Actually, yeah. So yeah, 5.5 I think is the very good score. Let's go to Robbo. Let's just get this band-aid off quickly. Let me start, and then you guys can follow.
Sure,
on.
go ahead.
Yeah, we'll follow on. I'll just say this for this game. I thought that this game showed you when you watch someone and you're like, man, you're just declining as an individual. I'm not saying he is, but when you think of that kind of football player or that player in general, that was the performance that I saw. I was like, oh my God, like you just look like someone who we remember you being good, but there's been this one game where you just looked like you were just getting cooked, like on a consistent, like they were having so much fun giving the ball to Saka that it was just getting to a point where I was like, he was screaming, help me, like, please, like, help me, because and to be fair, I don't feel like he was getting that much help anyway, to be honest, from Diaz. I don't think Diaz did anything to help him in that regards, but ultimately
he was getting help from Maka. Maka was helping. I think Maka was even yelling at a point where, which one? Where Maka committed a foul. I don't know to whom.
Yeah, he got the yellow card.
Maybe a tiny bit earlier than that, but sure, it could be that. It could be that one. But he was yelling at the team. He's like, "Yo, what are we doing? Why aren't you coming back?" I'm guessing that was the gist of it. Why aren't you in your position? And those kind of things. And that's the first time I've seen him gone red from screaming. So that was a bit fun. That was a bit funny for me. But yeah.
I'll give him a 3 anyway. That's where my
3.
Like, yeah, I thought you was rubbish. To the point where, let's put it this way, to the point where I don't even rate Tsimikas like that. But I was like, I beg you, just play Tsimikas at this.
If we play Tsimikas, maybe that goal is not scored. Maybe that goal is not scored.
Maybe like, and
maybe that goal is not scored.
I can't. Obviously, that's just hypotheticals, right? But I was just like, you're just And the thing is, I understand to a certain degree because, listen, Saka's one of the best wingers in the league. So if you get cooked by him, I'm not gonna think you're shit, if that makes sense. But it was just your overall general play. I just felt like, big up Ish, because he said something in the chat which made me laugh, made me think like he can't turn out with the ball. Like he doesn't ever turn out to then look for another angle to pass the ball. Everything always has to be inside to Kelleher. Like it's always the same pass back to Kelleher, which I always feel like, I don't feel like that's what we're trying to do here, is that every time you get the ball, you just go back to Kelleher. Because if you go back to Kelleher, Arsenal push up even more. They've already got a high line. You keep going back, they're just going to keep pushing up. And guess what? They plug the holes even more. I'm like, brother, turn out, bring the ball forward. I just didn't think he was really doing that.
And you want to know something on that? You want to know something on that? And that's actually a really good point, because that's probably the reason why Kelleher always went long to Salah. Because Robbo
maybe
put the ball back to him, and he had nowhere else to go than to long. To
now
Salah.
He had to kick it long. He had to kick it long.
I mean,
you're right. Yeah.
Look, Robbo reminds me of Casemiro now. He reminds me of Casemiro. He reminds me of a guy who used to be.
I wouldn't say Casemiro.
Unbelievable. Used to be unbelievable.
Why?
But now you're starting to see big cracks, and you're starting to see a player that's not good enough for a team, and it's going to be embarrassing soon. It's going to be embarrassing soon. And I don't want a guy who's been so good for the club to end up like Henderson or Fabinho at Liverpool, where the fans are like, just get them out, like just bin him. Like
I don't think it's that horrible. I don't think it's that horrible.
Like, he's letting us down repeatedly. Like I don't want to get to that stage, and I feel like it's going to happen soon. I feel like it's going to get to a stage where you can't rely on your pace, because you played him onside in the first place. because you were so worried about your own pace against him that you actually played him onside.
Yes, I did see that. That's a good catch. Yeah, that's a good catch, Kimak, because he wasn't up with the line. He wasn't with the line. If he was with Van Dijk, that's a straight up offside. If it was lined up properly with Van Dijk, that would have been an offside situation.
And you're also starting to put a huge amount of pressure on McAllister now, because we know Virgil van Dijk isn't going to do the sprint. He's not going to do that. Like, that's just not his thing. Like I haven't seen Virgil van Dijk sprint really in I don't know, at Liverpool, to be honest. It's just not his thing. So you've got McAllister, who's going to have to do so much more grunt work because
is that you?
Not being able to do it.
Hey, listen. I said, K-Mac, you know they're gonna kill you for that. I said, listen,
what the Casemiro?
Yeah, bro. Okay, I'm gonna disagree with you there, because I don't think it's as, I don't look at Robbo in that way. I think he's just declined, but I don't. Casemiro for me has like really declined, like just ridiculously, to the point where you're like, Jesus Christ, like
you want to retract that statement, K-Mac? You want to retract that statement,
bro? Rev and I 100%.
No, I've been on Robbo's back for a year and a half.
Hey, you might need a lawyer.
Yeah, you're gonna need one at some point in time.
I've not changed my stance on Robbo for a long time, so
no. To be fair, I will give K-Mac that. K-Mac has been for a long time. He's been saying the same thing.
That's been our biggest problem, the left side. Like, did you notice as well? Did you notice he subbed all the left-sided players?
Robbo, Diaz. Yeah. Oh yeah, Curtis Jones said it. Yeah. No.
He subbed them all. Them all. They just took them all off.
No, he did. All right, what score you got? I said 3. What are you guys giving Robbo?
3.
Again, I have mad respect for Robbo.
No. In this game,
listen. You need to listen to me, my brother. Listen, right? I have mad respect for my brother. He deserves a 3, but I'll give him a 4 because I like him. Okay.
I'm going with 3 because you said he deserves a 3.
Because I said Casemiro.
No, that's not it. I like him as a dude. He's a funny lad. He is again, good vibe. He's in the scheme of a team, you always want to have players like him. He's a lighthearted. He tries hard. He plays hard. Like you said, I think the game is physically leaving him behind, and that's unfortunate. But for a guy who's been really good to us at the club, he was. I never question his effort in any game, whether we're losing, winning, or tying, or drawing the game. I always feel like I didn't have to question his effort, and that's the type of player that we missing on that side, and it is just sad that he's no longer that player physically.
I hear it. I hear you. All right, let's move on. El Capitan. I thought he should have got a yellow card for that situation with Kai Havertz. Potentially, you could have gone another way, but definitely should have been carded for that. That was, I don't know what he was doing. That was stupid. Outside of that, though,
7.
Can't remember too much from Virgil. Where I'm like, yeah, you didn't play well. I thought Virgil was he scored in the game. Yeah, he scored as well. Like I thought Virgil had a calm game. Like honestly, like I would have given him like a 7. I'll be honest with you, like a 7.
Yeah, I'm giving an extra 7.5.
I'm good with that too. I'm actually good with that
because I think that one of the biggest reason also is that we didn't the game was controlled at 2-1 or 1-1. Or even when we're down 1-0, he kept us in the game by by being a leader. Hey, let's go. It's okay. We conceded. It's okay. Let's get back into the game. Let's play. And then he scored a goal. And then again when we went down 2-1, same attitude. Let's go. Let's play better. Yelled at players, come back. I think his leadership enough for me is giving him that 0.5, extra 0.5. I don't totally disagree with a 7, but a 7.5 is fair for me. Is pretty good for me.
Didn't he play them on side for the second goal?
Look, man, we're not counting toes, bro. We're not counting toes, bro.
That whole thing.
We're not counting toes.
I'll be honest. Yeah, to me, people were saying they felt it was offside. I feel like that was blatantly onside. Like I was even confused, but then I realized why people were talking about it. But yeah, I agree. Yeah, if you want to say yes, he was the one who played them onside. Yes, he was. But outside, but that's like
a toe.
I'm not gonna count him down for that. Like that wasn't that type of situation. You know. Yeah. Let's move on to Konate. Ibu.
8.
What do you guys think of Ibu?
I'll give him an 8.
I thought he was solid, man. I did think
he's like
Ibu. You guys already know. He'll always have Boza. He's just got the gene. He's got the trait in him. Like it's in him. So there was a moment where like he tried to like not even the foul. Forget that whole foul situation. That's just one moment. There was the other situation where he tries to header it, but the header goes like up into the air, and then they get it, like they would look like I was like,
oh yeah, and then Keller had to come in and grab it. Yeah,
I was like, yo, Ibu, he was good though. He was good. I'll take that away. He was a good player yesterday, and I thought he was Liverpool's best player, on the day anyway. So yeah, I think 8 is absolutely fine for Ibu. All right, midfield. We'll start off with Gravenberch. Grabbers.
6.
I hear it. I don't have an Ibu agenda, man. Like he's just got, you know what I'm saying? Like,
hey. Any word that says by the owner of the YouTube channel is not.
No, I think
it's not from the panel.
Yeah, that's for sure. I'll tell you that for free. Hold on one second.
Grab was a 6 for me as well. Like he didn't get on the ball as much, but they man marked him. Like they put Moreno on him. Like
frustration, a lot of frustration.
Yeah, he was double team. Like he couldn't get on the ball. I mean, second half he got on the ball a bit more, like and made some good runs and that, and progressed the ball forward, but just wasn't.
I actually think the best part of his game came in right after we scored that goal. Right after we scored that goal, there was for 5 minutes we were kind of choking Arsenal for 5 minutes, and then it looks like we could have probably tried to score another goal. But obviously after that, after Arsenal weathered that, they gained control again. But I think the best part of his game was within that 5 minutes. I thought he was doing really well around that time. I don't know if you guys remember. Right after we scored that equalizer, we were playing really well, and then it just went away.
Nah, I think outside of that moment that you're talking about, and it wasn't even really his fault, so to speak.
Yeah,
I feel like he's just being bypassed in the game. Like I started to just. Like, you could have taken Gravenberch off, and I don't think the result would have been better or worse in that situation. So I had about 5. I was like, you were super average in the game. It's nice on the ball, like passing, yes. But outside of that, I didn't look at Gravenberch and think, this guy is. Like we could have taken him off, and I would have been equally as happy as I was when we took McAllister or anybody else off.
That should have been 5.5. If we're doing the math right, it sounds like you're just putting your own rating up there.
No, I'm giving him a 5, man, because I already know the agendas are gonna fly with. Oh no, but he did this, and I'm like, nah. That's one player that you guys in your agendas have gone to the moon with someone like him, and with Gravenberch, I have to stamp my mark with that one.
Authority.
But he's obviously a very good player. So that we're not gonna act like he's not.
Make sure you say that. Got to make sure.
Sorry. I'll put up I'll put up. Mac 10.
Well, I think he deserved a 5. He's the one who deserved the 5. I think that again, this is what I've been, again, G in other stream, you've probably heard me say it. And when we're looking at the balance of the midfield, you obviously need all those 3 type of player in the midfield. You got someone who's gonna sit, read the game, and then you got someone who's who needs to be close to you to be effective, and that's Maka. And then you got the runner in Soboslai. And I think that today the game needed a midfielder that needed to be running, and he just wasn't there. And I don't think he had that's part of his game, and that's how he can be effective. And because we didn't have much of the ball, he struggled.
I give him a 4. I'd say it's the worst game I've seen him play this season.
He was rubbish, man. Like he was crap.
I just don't think that's his kind of game. I just don't think that kind of game.
I'm sorry.
That's fair. But ultimately, he was.
Yeah, I mean, it's when you play a certain teams, they create certain matchup, and then I don't think that matchup favors him at all. Yeah. Because you can kind of see it even in the Chelsea game. You can kind of see it even in the Chelsea game when he comes in. Yeah.
When I seen the lineup, answer this one, mate. Did you think that Mac was going to play in Dom's position and Jones was going to play in Mac's position? Because that's what he did against Chelsea.
Yeah. If you're going, by that, yes, yeah.
But he
didn't.
Looked
at him for maybe, yeah.
And Jones looked better when he played in Mac's position when he swapped.
Yeah. Jones actually.
So it was like,
time.
Is that down to the manager? Like, making a bit of a faux pas there, like for not playing him.
Oh, don't get twisted. Slot fucked up. He knows he fucked up because he had to make the changes later on. Like, listen, as much as I like the guy, but yeah, he messed up, and he messed up more tactically than anything else. Because I was like, and the pie of what happened to us in the game, I think that Slot needs to take a huge amount of culpability into this, because I think our biggest issue was strictly not the players were shit. It was more like tactically they were not in a better position to do a better job. And I think that's what happened. I can't say because again, we didn't have much of the ball in order for us to adjudicate who was not following instruction, who was doing too much, who was not executing the game plan. Because again, I do think from the beginning the game plan was flawed. It has a bit of flaw into it. No. All right. Curtis, then. So we're already talking about him. Mr. I came in for Szoboszlai. Mr. I am the one to play. Mr. Everybody loves me now. Mr. I played so great against Chelsea. That's why Szoboszlai doesn't need to play. No, I'm joking. But no, all just that. How do we think that Curtis Jones did, man? Honestly, how do we feel? To me, he was average. So again,
first half he was a 4. Second half he was a 5.
So a 5?
Yeah, 5.
Yeah. I agree with K Mac. It's a 5. It's a 5.
All right, let's move on. I need to jump in literally 10 minutos. Salah. I'm very intrigued to hear this. Yeah. What do you guys think about Salah, man?
7. You and I, Kim, we're on the same page. We're on the same page. We're on the same page on that one.
I can only go with what you guys say.
He's not going to get.
But before the goal, he was playing out of 5, out of 5.5 for me, out of 5.5 before the goal.
Just didn't put the ball down the right hand side to him. Like I just don't know why we just didn't play him in more. Just didn't.
Yeah, usually he have better chemistry with the front line. I think today was out of whack, especially him and Diaz. Again, this is where you could criticize Diaz for some of the stuff. I think that's probably one of the time you're talking about crossing the ball into the far post. That he wasn't getting himself into position to do that. Yeah, but I think before that, he was a 5. After the goal and everything else in the second half, you could say you could upgrade him to a 7. But hey,
I'm sorry, I'm laughing because I'm not going to say anything on Salah. I'm going to just.
Wow.
I don't need to.
Wow. Why? Is it because he's your boy?
No, I don't need to say anything on Salah. You guys have given him a 7. We're going to keep it at a 7.
That's a good score compared to everyone else, by the way.
No. K-Back, there's nothing wrong with the score. I like the score. I just know that people won't like the score.
Yeah, so I'm not a mad scorer. Like I've seen some of the scores on some of the on some of the shows, and I'm like, how the hell did you give that guy a 9? Did he score like a hat trick and like 2 assists?
Well, no one is even close other than maybe Konate to getting a 9. I can tell you.
Konate was really good. Really good.
Yeah. All right, let's go to Diaz. Lucho.
3. I know he got an assist, but
4.
Okay, 4 because he got the assist.
I'm giving him a 5. I'm giving him a 5 because again, I don't think he wasn't part of the game. Like I think you show up, you get a 5. Just showing up gets you a 5.
No.
He was the guy that fouled everybody for the free kicks.
Yeah, but this is where I'm giving him a 5. This is the weird logic, right? Again, that goal that they score at the end, when I don't know who jumped over Soboslai and it became a foul. I think it's the same thing because he was keep doing that to Partey. So I'm like, oh, maybe that's the consistency the ref had, because every single time that he tried to nudge Partey, the ref always give a foul. So I guess fair is fair. And for that, I'm giving him a 5. He didn't do nothing to me. He can't. If we didn't play with Diaz, I don't think it would have mattered because that's how much he didn't do anything. So I'm giving him a 5 because there's nothing for me to judge here. Like, and then he also gave an assist because he had to run behind a Havertz and get in front of him, flick the ball for an assist. I think we could give him that 1.5, guys. All right, from a 3.5 to 5. I think it's fair.
I'm gonna go 4.5 then.
I'm gonna go 4.
No, I'll give him because he made a compelling argument in terms of the assist, so I'll give him that. And yeah,
you got an upgrade from a 3 from me to a 4.
Yeah, well,
because of the assist.
Hey, I did my job.
Yeah, no, you did as best as you can. I thought he was crap, to be fair, he was the worst forward that we had in the game.
Yeah.
All right, La Pantera.
6.5 or 7. That's where I'm at. 7. It's because it's not because of the assists. I think that he tried really hard to get himself involved with the game. Defensively, he was doing a good job. And I think in the first half, again, because of him helping Robo at times, on that side, I think he tried to gain a intercept or even make some tackles against Marino and Rice. For that effort, I'm giving him. I'm giving him a 7, not necessarily because of the assist. I think he tried hard. He tried to make an impact into the game and get us playing forward, but it just not as successful. But he did.
Okay.
He can have a 6 because he got the assist. But I need my forwards to be shooting, and he hasn't been shooting. Like, he just hasn't been shooting. Like what are you there for? Like, I don't need you to be a defender. I need you to be a forward.
Yeah, but again, you got to look at the situation we were in the first half. In the first half, we were very defensive. We were struggling to gasp for some air and
get up the pitch. Give us an option out. Give us an option out. You didn't give us an option out because you were too busy playing in midfield or defense. Well, look at his heat map in the last couple of games. He's literally been nowhere near the front line.
Yeah, but the thing is that I think that's a slot issue more than him. Maybe. I think that's more of a slot issue if your striker or forward is that far deep and you're unable to defend without him being involved that deep.
I think 6.5 for the assist. I think the only thing I remember that he did outside of the assist was barge Saka to the floor. Outside of that,
which I thought was a foul, by the way.
Yeah, I thought that was big. He went straight in his back.
Nah, I just agree.
But we'll skim over that.
It's a non-consequential. It's non-consequential.
Yeah. I'm not gonna. I don't care about all of that anyway.
Yeah.
Outside of that, which you could say again, not his fault, and I hear it, but it being your fault or not your fault doesn't really play into how I think about you as an individual in terms of the game in itself. He did run around a lot. He was pressing at times. He did drop in. Yeah, I think 6.5.
You took a while. What? You wanted to give him a 7? You just couldn't justify it in your mind?
I did think about it because I was like, But then that would mean I think your overall performance was 6.5. Actually, no, I will give him a 7. Actually, I will give him a 7 because I felt like the running around was enough, to be honest. And if I'm being real, if I'm being honest, taking agendas aside, because everyone knows I got one with Salah, regardless, I think he was equally as good as Salah in the game. If not, potentially could have even been looked at a little bit better. I don't think Salah was that good in the game anyway, to be honest. What Salah has over everybody else is he has the moment that will...
the magical moment. The magical moment,
They don't really
and that's why Salah's got a 7 and Nunes has got a 6. Because Salah scored.
That's but he was assisted. He was assisted.
That was my logic.
I've read him. Read him 100%, man. He was covering for our midfield, man. He was doing a lot of running, man. A lot of running, which then obviously subsequently meant that you're not.
I think the manager also praised that. If I believe, if I'm not wrong, he praised that also, right?
He praised it. So look, listen. To be honest with you. Really, if I did this by myself, I promise you, if I know, maybe would have kept it the same. Outside of maybe, actually, I would have kept it the same. Ibu is the clear man of the match Like,
clear man of the
match. There wasn't even anybody.
Yeah,
there was no one. Yeah, for us, sorry, there was no one who was, in my opinion, I thought was even close to that anyway in terms of their actual performance. And listen, man, he's going from strength to strength. Anyway,
Arsenal fans are very impressed. And again, for some reason, people were, I think the league disrespect Konate so much until they play him. It's always like that. Every single time after they play Konate, it's like, yo, that guy Konate is really good. He was that good.
This
it's always like that. So I'm like, what?
All right, people, I need to head out in literally 1 minute. I will be on over with Judge Mo, so you guys head on over there. So I need to head. I'll quickly check this. Obviously, Konate versus Arsenal. Clearances, header clear. No, listen, I said he played good. You know what I mean? But to be honest, the stats, big up, honestly.
The stat don't even, that stat, it sounds midi. Because he did so much.
The stat doesn't even feel like that was how good he played. Like in my head, I'm like, I feel like he played better than that. But
he played better than that.
It's just one of them kind of things. Guys, make sure you head on over to K-Mac as well. Please, subscribe to his channel. Big up, Carl.
Well, looking forward any type of streaming that you have with Jamie. I believe that's his name. You do it all the time in your streams. I sometimes enjoy it when I'm in the car and then you guys are talking, but it's usually very late for you guys, right? You guys are talking around 11 midnight.
Yeah, man, because it's Hussam, man. Blame Hussam. He's always doing it these funky times, man. But obviously that's because of where he's at. So I, got to comply. He's the boss. So I've got to see what the boss is saying. But yeah, guys, I will be back. I'll probably be back by tomorrow. I probably will do a stream. I will be on, of course, as well. ENDZ has got a stream later on today. I believe it's at 5:30. I believe
previewing the Brighton game.
No.
If you don't mind me, Kim, if you don't allow me a woman, what do you think is gonna happen in this game? Is it
Oh no! We're not getting into that. No.
We're not getting. Not even the score. Not even the score. All right.
We're not gonna get into that. We'll get into that another time.
Yeah, another show.
But yeah, guys, please make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like. Make sure you share. I'll be on over at Judgment. As I said, you guys head on over there, check that out.
Check it out now.
about the game.
Right.
And Arsenal fans
Don't even look comfortable in your own ends. Don't look comfortable. I'm around.